You want to touch on your article first? Jake is a writer of some note. And apparently on dmagazine.com today, we've got a new article. What are we dealing with today?
So I would reject the idea that it's of some note, but it is something that we talked about over the last couple of days, and it was something that, my editor wanted me to, I guess, expound on. I still can't believe that Mark Cuban is not in charge of the Mavs anymore. It's super weird. The Mavericks have been to the finals 2 of the last 3 years. He hired a GM who apparently has grown into this job pretty well, right? Like, I think you and I were both pretty skeptical of that idea, as we were with Jason Kidd. And that's the guy that he hired, and now he's just gone. And at the beginning, it was that he sold 60%, and then it was 73% of his shares. And now it's that he's not even in charge anymore at all.
Yeah, and at the beginning they said he
was going to retain basketball control.
Yeah, and I remember hearing, I don't know if it was Windhorse or maybe it was, somebody was saying,
shares.
Yes, he had the control share.
Yeah.
Which I was very interested in.
And confused by.
Yeah, but so you could only own 20% of the team or whatever, but you have there's one share that says I get to control everybody, and I always get last say. But apparently not. Just because I would think if he still had control share, he'd still be front and center, like the face of.
But I feel like it started out that way. Like it started out with him saying, I'm selling this part of the team, but I'm still going to be in charge of basketball operations.
Doesn't that also, in retrospect, sound like that was the spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down easier?
That's exactly what I wrote today.
Oh, you did? Cool.
Just in the sense that it's like they wanted to do it in phases.
Mm-hmm. And that's a lot to take in as a lifer Mavs fan, that the guy that you've known is running the organization for 30 years, almost, is just handing it off to these, interlopers from Las Vegas. You attach that to it and get through the phase of, look, we made the finals. We're really, really good and making all these moves. Then you can kind of just slither away and nobody will even notice or care.
That's the way it feels. And the weirdest part to me about it is he's been like the most passionate out front owner outside of Jerry ever.
No, I thought he was just like Jerry.
And now he's just gone. And it doesn't seem like people are talking about it that much. It just seems like he's just gone. Like, he goes after the officials. He goes after the league. He's on a reality show. He's doing the Dairy Queen bit. He wears the basketball football jersey. I'm never going to be able to let that go. They got cut from the article.
They took it out.
The editor really didn't totally understand
Who's
that.
your editor, Tim?
No, but
he's making trades.
Yeah, I mean, he's driving around trying to convince DeAndre Jordan to stay here or follow through on the deal.
Yeah,
and now he's just gone. It's super, super weird.
Yeah, like he's nowhere.
Not at all.
Like he's not at any press conferences.
But he's not at the Western Conference Finals trophy presentation, like you said.
Yeah, it wasn't even in the group behind the new owner.
No, he just kind of sits at the baseline.
So he's still got sweet seats.
He does still have.
I remember trying to
SWEET seats, but
yeah, but trying to ascertain why. Remember at the time it was okay. I don't know. Did he take a bath on Bitcoin or crypto, and that's why he needs cash, which didn't really make a lot of sense. Just because he seems stoked on crypto, and guys that are stoked on crypto seem to
hold.
They don't put everything into it, and yes, then they hold because it always goes up in the long run. At least we hope. Those of us who have a Bitcoin.
Dan is hoping.
And then I remember the thought was, look at him getting out in front of this. He's getting out in front of the bubble bursting on the NBA TV rights. Those rights are coming up soon. And he knows that it's a bad future for that. He's getting out now, and that way he won't be around as salaries actually go down for the first time. Well, then we've seen that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw the theory. I kind of bought the theory behind it is the ratings just keep going down, down, down. Less and less people watch the finals every year. They're grasping at straws, trying to create an in-season tournament and, create excitement in the league. I could see that TV. They're not going to be in next. The networks aren't. And then everybody's bidding against each other and paying more even to have less because still sports is the thing. It's an innings eater. It's just it gives you programming.
Yeah, and my thought about that was just even if financially it made sense for him to move on. Because I think what he said was basically like that if he sold a specific number of shares, that the real estate and the casino thing is going to make those shares worth more, right? Like the Adelsons are going to build a casino. Mm. So if he now has 27% of the company as opposed to 80% of the company, that 20% will be worth more going forward.
As much as 50% would have been in the past.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you can get cash flow positive. But the part that I don't understand is relinquishing control of the team.
Yeah, that made sense because we would think those people know how to help the laws get changed because that's what needs to be
and
done.
Do what you have to do. Exactly.
And they are already big-time fans of all the people who are our lawmakers now, right?
And they're very adept at this.
Right-leaning, and they've helped change elsewhere. And
they happen to be funding the war in Palestine.
Like,
right
is there
now,
any chance...
That's a separate issue, I suppose.
Is there any chance that they have...
Told him?
He's not getting what he thought he was getting out of this deal?
That crossed my mind.
I don't think that anything is off the table.
And that he's upset about the way he's been moved to the back? I wonder.
Well, I mean, he's got $4 billion now.
Yeah.
So he can be upset about it all he wants, but...
I feel like he reveled in... being the face of the Mavs. Like,
and
there's always Dirk or there's Luka, but there's always Cuban,
Yeah. And that's, not to like just completely repurpose the article that I wrote this morning, but I was not a fan of the Mavericks until Mark Cuban bought the team. I was a fan of the Seattle Supersonics because they had a player with my last name who dunked a lot.
Yeah, the man-child.
Yeah. And so...
Future Cav. He was a Cavalier then.
Father of many.
Father of many.
Yeah.
Some probably unaware. But, when Cubes bought the team, it was like, oh.
He put him on the map.
For sure. And he kept Nelly. And he was like a different type of owner. And that's probably why I got into, like, analytics.
Dude, he changed the NBA.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like Jerry changed the NFL.
Yeah.
And
now he's just gone.
Yeah, there would be no owner of the Clippers if Cuban didn't blaze that trail.
Has anyone asked him
maniac billionaires.
Point blank, what do you do now?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he's really been out there in the public.
He gave...
You can text him. We all have his number.
Yeah.
We have to dust him.
Cyber dust him, yeah.
Okay.
I have to dust him.
Were you about to say he has done interviews?
One interview that I could find where he just said, hey, this is a financial decision that I need to make.
Okay.
But at that point, he had not relinquished control of the basketball team. This is back in like January.
Like when it was first done?
Yeah. And now it's just done. And the problem, again, is things have been going pretty well. So maybe he just like came to the realization or the conclusion that this game has passed me by.
I don't know. I mean, that seems weird, but...
It seems super weird.
I suppose it could be. I know we've all thought, is he ever going to run for president? I don't think he would be doing this now to clear the decks for that.
No.
But who knows?
And see, that's the other thing, too, is like, this is something we talked about last week a little bit. His politics actually align like way more with the average NBA player than most billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
And they, again, just sold to the biggest conservative donors in the world.
Pretty much the polar opposite of
It could
the
not
average
be
NBA
more of a
player.
left turn.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm not like making a judgment about anybody's politics on that front, but that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
And it
I guess
happened, and it happened, and everyone was just like, "Oh yeah, Mark Cuban sold the Mavs."
Yeah. If you have a chance to make billions of dollars, I think the politics matters less and less.
Probably so.
You know, these same ultra woke, if you want to call it NBA players, are
Education reform, Morris.
They're pretty cool about
Blake.
Selling stuff in China.
Yeah. Bubble
So-
jerseys.
Well, profit is their politics.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
And that
I
can
get that.
take many different shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they did all the social stuff on the court or on the jerseys, like it's just like corporate sponsors who are excited about Pride Month or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing that because they think that is a profitable move for them in the long run.
100%.
They're not doing it because they're stoked on seeing gay rights push forward. They're doing it because I think the population is going in this direction, and we should be.
Yeah, but
Let's just pretend we care about gay people for this month.
But at the same time, like, I feel like Cuban actually believes a lot of the stuff that he says.
Yeah. But, again, money is money.
I get it. Yeah, I just it's a weird situation. It's weird to me that it hasn't been a bigger deal. I don't know if it's because the Cowboys are such a big deal that they just like chomp up so much of our sports media consumption. And now we have to like talk about Malik Hooker and Micah Parsons. But it's really weird that a guy that you cannot write the story of the last quarter century of Dallas sports without mentioning his name first is just gone. And we're like, yeah.
This kind of falls under the "it's just business" umbrella, where you can be one way, socially minded, civically minded in one direction, and it's like kind of like that. Hey, don't take it personally. This is just business. You hear that in business a lot. Don't get your feelings hurt. I had to make this decision. It's just business.
We've heard that.
You can still say all of these things about how progressive you think that Cuban is, and he probably is. But when it comes to, I have an opportunity to make X amount of dollars, this is just business. This has nothing to do with what I believe, but I'm not going to let that stand in the way of me profiting.
And I totally get that. Again, the last thing I'll say is I don't know why it's not a bigger deal.
Obviously, if Jerry sold, it would be the biggest deal.
Yeah,
But
and
he's
I thought
certainly-
about that this morning. Like, maybe that's because there's like a family.
He's woven his family into every aspect of the Cowboys, so
Yeah.
that would be a lot different. Cuban
Yeah.
is only
One man. Yeah.
only one man, and
Maybe he just flat out doesn't want to do it anymore.
That's
maybe.
really the only thing that I can come up with.
I mean, he's what, 62, 3,
Something,
4,
yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem odd though. You got the next LeBron,
Yeah.
and I want to step away. Like, I could see if they were kind of
Floundering.
like if they were Atlanta
Like
or
5
somebody
years ago.
or most other teams, like
Yeah.
don't really know your path to the top. But
I mean,
no, it's
we're 3 years removed from him talking about like the kid hire, like it was something that was like he had this big architect plan for it. Do you know what I mean?
oh yeah.
And now he's just like, well, I'm out.
All right, go check that out on dmagazine.com.
Thank you for the promo.
The highly unnecessarily edited D Magazine article by Jake Kemp.
That's right.
I
We need that
just-
thing about the Cuban jersey.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I just think the jersey's funny.
It is.
It's a basketball jersey on a football jersey.
Uh-huh. The reference was lost on your editor. Red line.
What do we got on the River Sein?
That is what we're here to talk about.
Okay.
That's been the story we've followed. The Olympics opening ceremony is Friday. and it will be on the River Seine.
Seine. Okay.
I believe it's Seine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, it's Kevin Pelton.
Jesus Christ! Turn off the TV. So we've been talking about the fact that the River Seine is a nasty place, very polluted. Yet they are going to use it for some Olympic events, and they're having the opening ceremonies on the river.
Mm-hmm.
With apparently they say no plan B. So I don't know what that exactly means. I guess they just don't have a ceremony.
I thought it meant they're not handing out pills.
Yeah, well, maybe that is it.
Beginning of the
I like that.
opening
Maybe
ceremony.
that is it. Mm-hmm.
Which would make more sense.
My joke is not as good, but I was just going to say having no plan B, in my experience, not great.
Yeah,
in both experiences.
Very
both ways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go.
So, the president of France, Macron, and the mayor of Paris had both said they were going to take a swim to prove that this river is not toxic, because it's literally filled. I mean, it's a wastewater dump off. If the rain gets too high, they will divert the sewage system to dump into the river.
Most recent tests show that it is 3.5% diarrhea.
Yeah. Little chunks are in the. It's gross. It's a gross river.
Chunks.
So.
Chunks.
So what they did is they spent $1.5 billion.
Whoa.
To create like a larger, like if there is the rainfall that would. Anyway, they can. It's kind of like they just built a new big tank or something, and that's where the sewage will now go.
I heard they were just going to plug in a giant pool cleaner to clean up the river.
Yeah, one of the Polaris.
Yeah, they just got
a big Polaris.
Giant Polaris.
Is that that thing that floats around and scares the shit out of kids?
Yeah, it's going back and forth along the bottom of the.
Oh, damn, it's stuck.
The river. Anyway, the mayor keeps pushing back her date. She has not swam yet.
Oh, no.
She keeps giving a date. That's her problem. The French sports minister, though, did take a swim over the weekend and did not disintegrate.
Okay.
So apparently the French sports, they're trying to, they have to have some public official swim in it to say, yeah, it is safe, because everybody's like, I don't think that'll be safe. They're like, yeah, it will be. Well, we'll swim in it. When?
They just found, the lowest person that could take one for the team?
Yes, the sports minister. What the hell is
that? Doesn't feel like a high level of official, Dan.
Swimming in the Seine, if you just want to know how dirty it is, it's been banned since 1923.
Do you know how bad things have to be for 100 years ago for people to be not safe?
Right, because they were doing anything back then.
Yeah.
Right?
We literally had the goddamn plague.
They were telling, they were telling people, all right, if your baby is getting out of control, shake it. Mm-hmm. Then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just serious.
But don't get in that river.
Yeah.
Are you pregnant? Yeah, you can keep smoking.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I mean, what? They didn't have little, microbial testing probably back then.
No, I think they just looked at it.
This was based on the eye test.
They just looked at it and smelled it. And were not so good. And now today they're like, what if we put the mayor in there?
Okay, so you say it was the lowest possible public official to jump in, the sports minister?
Seems pretty low, yeah.
She was accompanied by the Paralympic flag bearer for France.
Oh, no. They put a crippled in there?
Well, I don't know that that's the way we term it, but...
Crippled.
Is that out of bounds now?
Let's see here. Now...
It is?
Part of the...
Okay, disabled person? They put a disabled person...
How about you just let the things roll, and who cares if it's out of bounds? It's fine.
She was looking at me.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
she's looking at you. Well, then you should probably change the whole show.
So they put a disabled person.
I didn't realize somebody was looking at us.
They put a disabled person in a shit-filled river. Is what you're telling me?
Well,
Yeah.
so they have tried to clean it up. Okay, they built this other little
$1.5 billion
thing. But there is a group of protesters that have been standing by. They're waiting for the day the mayor keeps saying she's going to swim in the river, and they're trying to get a protest together to where all these people. So she's going to swim in the river. Let's say by the Eiffel Tower. They're going to go upstream, time it out, and they're trying to get thousands of people to drop their pants and drop a deuce in the river so that it will all be floating by at the same time of the mayor's swim.
It hits her at once. They've timed it all. And they're like an app. I think they created like some type of app where you can
you seen
at
this?
a specific time.
I
feel like John Oliver did something on this.
So-
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, they're waiting.
Are they not convinced that the shit is
Turd floats at 2.1 miles an
Right,
hour.
right.
And if from 400
It weighs
kilometers,
an average of
they figured out all the science on when it will actually hit her in the head.
But I feel like that's dishonest though, because
She's just
aren't
ducking them all.
they already
Knocks out her
saying that
cigarette.
like we feel like there's too much shit in here?
Yeah,
So why do we need to put more poop?
because that's fun.
I guess
I think
it's
aren't they
fun.
Olympics protesters? Did you already say
Yeah,
that?
they're protesting
You
the
said
fact that they spent $1.5 billion on that, and not like
Okay, so they want to undo it.
do you think we have no homeless people now? Well, you're going to think they have no homeless people because we've swept them all away for the
the
whole
Olympics
thing.
sucks.
It's terrible. Like what it does to cities and what cities do to suck off the Olympics to get it at their host location, and the way they position their city is just these, it's so beautiful and pristine and clean, and then when the Olympics go away, it's back to even worse than it was before.
Yeah. And your taxes have to pay for it. It's not a great thing.
I mean, the sports side of it's cool. It's just what it does to the infrastructure. I mean, yeah, I guess it depends.
I like watching some of it, but is it worth like a rapacious siege on a city?
Probably not. I mean, obviously it is for profit. Yeah, it's got.
I don't think it is for profit.
Isn't it though?
I don't think I don't think the Olympics are like a loss leader at all. I think that countries generally lose a lot of money by having the Olympics. Am I crazy about this?
I mean, certainly there's some.
I think it's like a national pride thing, but I don't think that it actually makes countries money.
It sure gives me pride when I see one of our guys shave a world record from 4.23 seconds to 4.22. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You stand up and cry and put your hand over your heart.
I do like seeing the basketball team kick the crap out of everyone. That's kind of fun.
I do know you like that.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to see LeBron get another championship. I mean, that's really what this is all about.
Joel Embiid.
Although, you know what? They did mess up with no Caitlin Clark. Because do you know how much I care about the NBA now, or the WNBA? Kind of.
Yeah.
That's how much, kind of. But I am really amused by, did you see clips over the weekend of who's Caitlin Clark's nemesis?
Angel Reese.
Okay. Apparently she had, the WNBA record for double-doubles in a row.
With 4.
It's 15.
4.
I think saying 15, to me, has the same effect. That does really? I would think.
However,
look up the NBA's record.
Okay.
It feels like it should be a lot longer.
They play fewer minutes. However, I'm going to tell you, the numbers were almost all 10 and 10.
Oh, yeah. So the other night, they had, I don't know, their team was playing another team. I don't know any of the teams.
Yeah.
But apparently she had 9 points, and there's a minute left. They're losing by 20, and they are just feeding her. And it's really funny. There's 4 girls covering her, and everyone else is wide open, and she wouldn't pass it.
Love that.
And she just keeps getting blocked and rejected and firing out. Is awesome.
Just they did all this to prevent her double-double.
Right, to prevent the double-double streak from continuing. I think she had already tied the record, maybe. I don't know. I know she was going for the record. I don't really care, but I'm amused by... And certainly no one's going to care about her either if she wasn't Caitlin Clark's nemesis.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Well, I mean,
I would watch a little basketball in the Olympics of the ladies if indeed Caitlin Clark was on the team, but she's not.
I think I would be interested to watch it if they had to play together.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the biggest thing is, and we've talked about this a little bit, is just it's turned into a culture war. Like, I don't care about Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese.
No.
I don't care about...
I like that Caitlin Clark is jacking up logo threes. That's fun.
Yeah, no, it's a fun style of basketball, and I like that Angel Reese is an aggressive player or whatever, but the fact that it's turned into this, like, can we fight about black and white people? I don't know, man.
Well, that's just a fun part of our culture altogether.
I guess it is.
It's the fun part, Jake.
Yeah.
It just, you know. And the weird thing is, I don't think either one of them want anything to do with it.
Yeah, Angel seems to enjoy it.
Might want a little bit to do with it.
She's not getting a shoe deal without that.
But it doesn't seem to me like Caitlin Clark wants anything to do with, like, being a proxy for race war. But I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I
want to be a proxy for race war. How can I do that?
I would say if you said the N-word right now.
That would make me a proxy?
You could probably get there.
Well, I appreciate the advice, and I'll think about that a little bit.
I'm just telling you.
He said he's going to consider it. I mean,
maybe in the news.
What more do you want?
No puppet.